Hey everyone, and Happy New Year. Happy 2024. 2024 started out great. Before I get to that, I do want to remind everyone that I am not a doctor, and everything that I say here today is not to be construed as medical advice in any way, shape, or form. Just things that have happened to me and how I interpret them. And secondly, we're going to be talking about prostate cancer. So if that bugs you, just know what you're getting into. Okay, so 2024 has already started out great. I started out this morning personally, kind of hitting the wickets on the different parts of the 4 parts of the journey with prostate cancer. When I say 4 parts, I was lucky enough and blessed enough to be on a podcast by Jason Stone, who does the podcast Prostate Cancer, The Road to Recovery. Really great guy. We did a podcast the other day where we talked about these 4 sides of, or really the 2 sides of a cancer journey and the 4 parts of one. So the 2 sides being one being the medical side, which is a treatment, the medical treatment, and the other one, which is being kind of more the personal, which includes your physical, your diet, your spiritual, and your mental parts of that coin. So started out this morning with a treadmill workout, which is what I normally like to try to do. I can't really do a lot of weight bearing because of the port in my chest, but that is soon to be gone. I cannot wait. And then more importantly, part of the mental aspect, something that was very inspirational, is I saw a video of Jason, the guy I was just talking about, doing a walk to start out the new year. And so him getting in his physical part of those 4 steps that we were talking about. So that's really great. Awesome to see Jason doing that. And so really, really inspiring. Really helped out my mental aspect. And of course, there's the eating well part. This actually is a turmeric love smoothie from Prima Cafe that has all organic things, including a lot of turmeric in it, which of course is supposed to be beneficial if you have prostate cancer. So so we talked about that. Another part of, in today's episode, I'm going to focus a lot on the mental aspects of those 4 steps that we talked about. And one of the parts of the mental aspect for me is continuous learning. I am a person who is very interested, and I've had a lifelong love of learning. Lifelong isn't really, really accurate. I developed a yearning for knowledge over my time in school, believe it or not. So I really just enjoy learning about things. And in this case, I really enjoy learning about prostate cancer, although it can be very scary since it is not all rainbows and butterflies. But I do enjoy learning about it. And so part of that continuous learning, and I just kind of wanted to mention it here, especially if you've got prostate cancer and you're listening to this, or if you know someone who has prostate cancer, kind of the things as a recap from 2023 that have helped me mentally with the learning aspect. One is Jason's podcast, the Road to Recovery. One great thing about his podcast is he interviews a lot of people with different types of prostate cancer or different stages of prostate cancer and who are undergoing different treatments for prostate cancer than he is. So we kind of get a holistic or a wider range of input. So I find that very informative. Dr. Geo Espinosa, he hasn't been doing his podcast for too long, but he is a naturopathic urologist, I think, and I'm probably butchering that, so forgive me. I'll put links to all these in the video, but he has done a lot of different podcasts on things that I interest. Hey, like one of his is on specifically androgen deprivation therapy. One of his is on, hey, is it okay to drink alcohol? Or if it isn't, what's okay to drink about alcohol? Short answer is nothing, by the way. But things like that, erectile dysfunction. So he will go into lots of those videos. Then there's Dr. Greger, I forgot his first name, but he wrote the book on how not to die, and his is more specifically about diet, and so what to eat, what not to eat, or what he recommends. What I like about his is that he references, or he tells you why he thinks or says what he says based on actual medical studies that have been done. So again, I take what I want from all of these. And then finally, one that I actually just discovered today is Dr. Eugene Kwong. I think he may only have one of these episodes or one podcast or a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's a podcast. But he actually goes over all, or not all, but I guess most of the treatment options for prostate cancer that are available to prostate cancer patients today. And so he'll talk about all the different types between androgen deprivation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, PARP inhibitors, and then he'll say, okay, I would start somebody that's young and healthy with this type of ADT. And then if you develop a resistance, then I would switch to this. And then if you develop a resistance to that, I switch to this, and so forth and so on. It's scary, but again, I find the knowledge outweighs the fear in this case. So anyway, much love to all of those that I mentioned. Thank you. Your podcasts and your YouTube videos, they're making a difference, at least in my life. So I'm looking forward to more of that in 2024. And finally, probably what I most wanted to talk about, every year, one of the important things to get your mind right, and for me, the mental aspect, as I've said lots of times, is a really big part of this journey, is our New Year's resolutions. And I've actually done New Year's resolutions for a long time, and I've felt that I've been pretty good at tracking New Year's resolutions. I always write down my New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the year, and then I put them in a place where I can find them or where I can look at them, and then we'll review them at the end of the year to see how I've done. And I'm not super hard on myself if I haven't achieved a lot, but I've found that over time, I have actually been able to achieve more of my goals on an annual basis than not. Of course, 2023 was an outlier in the sense that I had specific goals for 2023 that when I got diagnosed with prostate cancer on Memorial Day, went out the window. And I went ahead and did a new set of New Year's resolutions. And so I find what helps, before I get into all the specifics with that, New Year's resolutions, for me, it helps to write them down like I mentioned. It helps to post them somewhere that's visible. So for me, my New Year's resolutions have been posted on my bathroom mirror. So I see them when I brush my teeth in the morning, and I see them when I brush my teeth before I go to bed in the afternoon. And I also try to make them positive. There's not a lot of I won't or I'll stop. It's more of I will. I will do something. A lot of positivity rather than negative words. And finally, I like for them to be what's called SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So last year, because I did these new goals really while I was in shock, I wouldn't say that they're very smart. For example, my goals for 2023 were to beat cancer and were to figure out my ikigai. Well, beating cancer, obviously I still have advanced prostate cancer, but I do feel like we've taken some positive and demonstrable steps toward achieving that goal. So I'm gonna chalk that up as a win. And then of course, the figure out my ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese term, and I'm not sure what the specific meaning is, but it kind of translates into what is your passion. There's a series on Netflix or Amazon, forgive me for, I don't know which one it is, but it's called Blue Zones, and it does research into those areas of the earth where you have a lot of centenarians who are living healthy and full lives. And in Japan, where I had the pleasure of living for 4 years when I was in the Navy, they have a lot of centenarians, specifically in Okinawa, where they went. But one of the things they attribute their longevity to, healthy longevity, is an ikigai. So they have a passion, either whether it be woodworking, gardening. It's not the only thing. There's a diet aspect to it, there's a social aspect to it, and a spiritual aspect to it. But so part of mine was the ikigai. And I haven't figured that out yet. I know at one part in my life it may have been music, may still be music. I do know that part of my ikigai is what Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson said at one point, and I probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. but he said to leave the world a better place than you found it. And I know that's one of my overall life goals, is to leave the world a better place than I found it. So anyway, you'll also notice that on this sheet, I've got 4-year goals and 8-year goals. I find that now that I've got advanced prostate cancer, that those longer goals help motivate me from a mental aspect to give me reasons to be alive for longer. Because if I don't have any reason to be alive, why am I taking up the oxygen and the resources, that can be used by, others that might need them more. So, I've got these goals. I know people aren't necessarily interested in the specifics of what they are, but I think it's important to have them be measurable, achievable, timely, and that you're, kind of over time, so you've got that reason or that reminder of the reason to live. Now, of course, all I've got to do every day is wake up and see my boys and know that I've got plenty of reasons to live. But anyway, that it still helps. I find it an active exercise. Maybe you don't have boys you wake up to and see every day. So these New Year's resolutions, might be able to help you. So anyway, I think I've said anyway a bit too much, but 2024 has already started out great, and I know it's going to be a very good year. I look forward to it. I look forward to doing this journey with you. Oh, and just so you know what's next for me, January 10th and 11th, those are the next 2 big days. The 10th is my next shot of the Eligard, the 3-month shot I get, which is blocks the pituitary from sending the signal to the testes to produce testosterone. And so it's chemical castration, basically. And Exgiva, which is people take it with osteoporosis, it kind of strengthens the bones. That's a simplified explanation. And then, of course, on the 11th is my 6th round of chemo. And after that, I'll be done, and I'll get this poured out, and I'll get back to some weight-bearing exercises and some weight resistance exercises, and kind of get back into the gym. So looking forward to that. Till then, man, Happy New Year, happy 2024. Remember, anything is possible.